Hello everyone and welcome to my corner of the world. Today I've got a super simple and cute Christmas card to share with you, ready for the Christmas season. And I have featured the Brightest Glow stamp set. Got lots of lovely different greetings for the season, and I've chosen to use the Merry Christmas and the Happy New Year for my card today. My supplies are simple. My card base is 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 4.25, and I've got a nice fold in there now. And then I've got a piece of white. This is 5.25 by 4. That's the piece that's gonna go inside, so I can write my to you, love from me. And then a couple of extra pieces, which is shaded spruce, which is 5.25 by 4, and then this layer is white again, 4.75 by 3.5. Now you don't need to remember those measurements because if you look below my video here, you'll see that there's a link to the exact blog post that will have all the information about this card. So I'm starting with real red, and I'm only using one color ink, and I'm gonna lay my greeting down first. So this is the Merry Christmas, and I'm just gonna pop that toward the bottom like that, press firm, and there we've got that. And then while I've got my ink out, I'm gonna stamp the Happy New Year as well. I'm just gonna go across the bottom corner with that. My piece, I'm gonna call this holly. I know it's a stretch because it does look a bit like mistletoe actually, but I'm going to call this holly because I got red berries on it. Now I used some shaded spruce, and I used this particular die set, which is horse and sleigh dies, which has this lovely sort of tree shape here. It also has got like horse and sleigh and other trees, and you can build a sleigh up and all sorts. So that's that. But I thought, well, maybe if you didn't have that particular die set, we could use a punch. And this is the bow punch. And we could use this particular piece here to cut our branch. So I'm going to use this piece of card. This is the shaded spruce layer, and I'm going to push this in as far as I can. But before I do that, I'm just going to make sure that, yes, it's not going to, right. So I'm going to push this in as far as I can, and I'm actually going to punch it out of my layer. That way I don't have to get extra pieces of cardstock, and that's going to be covered, and nobody will be any the wiser that we used a piece of that card to create our featured piece. So I'm just going to use some liquid adhesive to attach that down, and that is my preferred adhesive, but you can use whatever works for you. So we've got that piece. As I say, no one's going to be any the wiser. Then I'm going to take my card base, and I'm going to stick that down straight onto my card base. Now this one would be a really good one for sending overseas. A lot of my cards actually I send to friends and family overseas, And so we want it as light as possible and as flat as possible. So by using adhesive instead of Stampin' Dimensionals, that's the sticky pads that pop things up, it means that I can probably meet the weight limit for the international stamp without putting anything extra. So if I was using the piece that was die cut, okay, I would just put some liquid adhesive on the back, and I'm going to do the same with this particular piece. So just a little tiny squeeze like that, and then I'm just spreading it, and then I'm just going to put a little dot on each of my leaves there, and I'm going to bring it down to there. So there we've got that, and then we're going to break out these gorgeous festive pearls, and they come with red. Now they call this green, but it's a very, very pale green. It looks almost like a sheen, a silver sheen. Then we've got bright silver and bright gold. So I'm just going to put some of these lovely red pearls, and I'm going to make them look a little bit like berries, holly berries. Just like that. Very quick and simple card. And then my final flourish is going to be this beautiful ribbon. It's real red, and it's got gold polka dots woven through it, and it really is quite lovely. So I'm going to tie just a simple knot, and I want, because you can see it's got polka dots one side and then it's got the woven bit the other, which actually is a very pretty design. I hadn't really looked at that, but that would make a good design on another card. But I want to make sure that the polka dots appear on both sides. So I'm just going to pop that through there, and as I do so, I'm going to turn it back on itself so that the twisty bit is actually inside the knot, like that. There we go. And then just trim up. This side has got a little bit of fray on it, so I'm just going to gently trim that up. And then a few glue dots. So I'm going to pop one on the knot itself, and then I'm going to pop one on each side of the tail from the knot, and that means that I captured all the bits that could fly away and get loose from the card. And so pop that over the top, and then I'm going to bring this down so I've got my tails exactly where I want them. So there we are. So if you have a die that will produce this effect, you could go ahead and use that. If not, the bow punch is the way to go. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed this very quick video. If you have, maybe you'll go ahead, give me a thumbs up, subscribe and share my videos. Any comments, I'd love to read them down below. And same if you've got questions, I'll do my best to answer them. So there we are. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye bye for now.